Hello guys, it's Janji and we're gonna go see TikToks to keep you at night. At night, we are gonna go react to this guy. Today's not guy.
Ruin Your Day, Part 6. There are
Let's see
only two
this.
days that do not last 24 hours, the one of your birth and the one of your death. Pacu is a South American freshwater fish known for its squarer, straighter teeth that eerily
What?
resemble
So like the fish, fresh fish, like have those teeth, right? And then they also have teeth within humans.
those of humans.
Oh,
This is how
I
a
hope
toothbrush
that's not
looks like under a
happening.
microscope after the
But
first use.
let's
Google
see.
hires camels for the desert street view. Terrifying urban legends that turned out to be true, Part 2. In October 1970, a couple reported seeing a man dressed in a white suit and wearing bunny ears who began yelling at them that they were on private property. It was
The
then
bunny
theorized that
man
this man was the Bunny
is
Man, an
actually
urban legend
yelling
about an
at.
escaped mental patient in Virginia.
It's actually yelling. Kasi we see this thing, this sub subtitle said yelled, like bunny man yelled. Fake. So
Took to
this.
gutting teens and hanging them from a bridge underpass. Locals were cautioned to never be caught near the underpass, which is now known to most people as the Bunny Man Bridge.
They're actually not, but I do have one that just won an hour ago called She's Here. It's story time. Take a seat. Those monsters taste horrible, by the way. Gerald Fredrickson was a disgusting man. From the time he was a small boy all the way to his teenage years, Gerald found pleasure in torturing
Dude,
animals and beating
wait.
up kids.
His face like a paint. It's like a paint. What happened to him? Is this a disease or something?
That walked home
You need
alone,
to
while
see
other
a
kids found
doctor
interest in sports and
right
video
now.
games. And being as big of a person as he was, there was almost nobody at any time that could ever tell him no or resist him. At the time he was 30 years old, Gerald was a full-blown menace with nothing but an ice cream truck to his name. 70 kills under his belt, all young girls and boys. The town was in absolute chaos, but nobody would suspect the jolly old ice cream man Gerald thought to himself. So one day during a long and boring day of ice cream routes, Gerald decided to strike again. He had promised a young girl named Susan a few days ago a free vanilla cone. All she had to do was meet him at 9 p.m. sharp, just outside of town. Sure enough, 9 p.m. came, and Susan found herself walking up to the bright ice cream truck, the same red band in her head that she wore every day. Too easy, Gerald said to himself as he quickly turned the engine on. He shined his brights directly in her face and then punched the gas. The ice cream truck clipped little Susan, sending her flying across the street,
Okay, I'm not
barely
gonna
clinging to life. Gerald then walked
Let's
over to
listen to
her dead body,
this.
scooped her up, placed her in the truck, and she was never heard from again. Just another victim of the mystery killer in town. What a hot little biscuit that was, Gerald proclaimed as he returned home after burying the body far away. He then sat on his couch and began to channel surf, but after a few minutes of that, he began to hear a small girl outside his window laughing. My God, those sound like Susan's laughs, Gerald said to himself, as he moved his large body all the way to his window, and then what he saw terrified him. It in fact was
Oh
little
crap.
Susan, but she looked
I
very
hate that.
different.
I hate
Her hair
that.
floating
I
about
hate that.
wildly with
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I'm going to skip. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Okay. So
After that
those
chat.
face that I see, I don't like to see that because it's very scary.
I know exactly which one you're
This
talking about. It's
phrasing
called
looks
The Bride.
familiar.
This was a very popular one. So the
What's
story
that?
goes like there was a couple who had just gotten
Oh,
married,
it's a
and during their
drawing
wedding
with a
reception,
paint,
they were having lots of fun,
pencil.
dancing, singing, and
Don't.
even playing
I wish I
games
can
and
do that.
contests.
Can I do
One
that
of the
too?
games that they decided to
I
play
get
was hide and
paint,
seek.
but I can't
The bride went up to
paint.
the attic and was looking for a place to hide when she came across a giant chest. She opened the chest and climbed in, thinking nobody would ever find her in there, and that when they went up to the attic to look for her, she could pop out and scare them. Well, right after she had climbed into the chest, the top had slammed down and hit her in the head, knocking her unconscious. As she fell inside the trunk, the lid then slammed closed and locked. Everybody was looking for her, but nobody looked inside the trunk. After a while, they started searching elsewhere, searching all over the wedding venue and even all across town. Nobody knows how long she was hanging on the trunk after she had come out of her unconscious
Yes.
state, but still she was all the way in the attic and nobody could hear her. After a while of searching for her, all of her friends and family decided that she was gone and that they would just stop looking for her. Nobody ever knew what happened to her except for one day a maid was looking for something in the house where the wedding venue had taken place. She went up into the attic searching for this item, thought maybe it's in the trunk. So she opened the trunk, and to her horror, the corpse of the bride was in the trunk, withered away to only...
Okay, let's see this, guys. Let's see this. So that means already bone. So spider webs, what's this? Scars? And then you see it's bone again. So I don't see like chest. Or it's like big chest, so you can see the chest. And it's like sitting there in the face. It's creepy. But respect, because he died. Because she died.
skeleton wearing her wedding dress.
Oh no! Oh no! I hate that. I hate that. Spooder. Spider. Oh no.
In January of 2013, a young woman named Elisa Lamb flew to Los Angeles from Canada and checked into the Cecil Hotel.
Dude! Popsicle. I like popsicle. Why you do that? You make me hungry.
She was first placed in
And
a
then
hostel-style room, which she shared with another guest. But after 2 days, the front desk got a call.
Hi, I'd like to make a complaint. The woman I'm sharing a room with is acting very odd and uncomfortable. Is there any way you can move her?
So Elisa was moved to a room of her own, and that was the last time anyone saw her. During her trip, she kept in frequent touch with her parents back home. But when they didn't hear from her when she was supposed to be leaving Los Angeles, they became worried and called the LAPD. Around the same time, the front desk kept getting more complaints.
The water pressure in the shower is so low. The tap water is all black.
So a hotel staff member went up on the roof to inspect the
What?
water tanks. He noticed that one of them was open. He looked inside, and that's when he found Elisa floating in the tank. To this day, nobody knows how she got in there undetected. But there are a lot of theories. See, Elisa had bipolar disorder and depression, and was on prescription medication to help keep her in balance. She kept a blog where she wrote about her struggles with her illness, and seemed to be very open about it. The most logical conclusion is that Elisa was off her medication, broke
Oh, come on.
from reality, and drowned herself in the water tank. Another theory is that she was playing the elevator game. The elevator game is a ritual that originated on a Korean website. When performed properly, you can supposedly be transported to another dimension. In order to play, you need a building that has at least 10 levels. It's best played at night since you need to be completely alone. You enter the elevator and go to different floors in a particular order. Once you reach the 5th floor, a woman will get on with you. Whatever you do, don't look at her or speak to her. She isn't human. When you reach the 10th floor, you exit the elevator and enter a new dimension. You will still be in the hotel, but only you exist. Be careful. In this dimension, your cell phone won't work, and you may feel disoriented and even faint. If you wake up without taking the proper steps to come back to our world, strange things may happen. So what does the elevator game have to do with Elisa Lamb? After news spread of her bizarre death, a surveillance video from one of the hotel elevators went viral. It showed Elisa acting very oddly in an elevator, pressing random buttons, talking to seemingly nobody. Was she playing the elevator game? The Cecil Hotel has since rebranded itself to Stay on Main. They can change their signs, but they can never change what happened within its walls.
If this happens to you, do not open the door. Once there was a girl named Donna who lived with her father, but he went out of town for a business trip, so Donna was left alone in the house. Then one night she heard the doorbell ring.
Okay, another scary trick.
Downstairs and was about to open open the door, assuming it was her father. But she stopped. Something wasn't right. She looked through the peephole and saw her father staring back at her. His eyes were wide open and he looked terrified. But the doorbell kept ringing. Donna said, "Dad, did you forget your keys?" No answer. "Dad, say something." Still no answer. Donna said, "I'm not opening the door until you say something." Eventually, the ringing stopped and Donna fell asleep. The next morning, she looked through the peephole again. Her father was still there as if he hadn't moved all night. She finally opened the door and what she saw horrified her. Her father's head was hanging from above the door, and there was a note attached to the doorbell with only 2 words: "Clever girl."
This is a scary story about the voice. One night, a young girl was lying in bed, just on the verge of falling asleep, when she suddenly heard her mother calling her name from the kitchen. She then got up and began walking down the stairs to see what her mother wanted. But as she got halfway down the stairs, she heard her mother's voice from the top of the staircase say, "Don't go down
Oh my
there."
gosh! Dude, Dude, that creeped me. Okay. Okay, I can do this.
Noises. He thought it was Robert snoring.
That face is scary.
So he threw a pillow at him to wake him up. Robert woke up confused and said, "What's wrong?" John said, "Stop snoring. I can't go to sleep." As soon
And the killer would drop back down into the seat to avoid getting caught. One night after leaving a high school basketball game, at first she thought we must be going in the same direction, but then she began to watch the truck in her rearview mirror. When she sped up, so did he. When
Dude,
she
it's
passed
creepy,
a car,
dude. That
he did
is
too.
very
Then
creepy.
he turned on his high beams and left them on for quite some time, so she began to feel uneasy. She tried speeding away, but he would continue to follow her, flashing his high beams the entire drive. Finally, she pulled into her driveway, but the truck pulled in right behind her. She jumped out of her car and ran into her house, telling her father to call the police. But when police arrived, the man had a gun in his hand and told them that he wasn't the one they should be arresting. He pointed inside of the girl's now parked car, and there was a man crouched behind the driver's seat with a knife. The man had slipped into the girl's car
get
just
scared.
before she left the school game, and the man in the truck
But
saw it all happen
that
and
woman,
had no way to
I
stop
get
it.
very
So he followed
scared.
her car, and each time the man in the back seat reached up to stab the girl, the truck driver would flash his high
Mom,
beams
please
and the
don't
killer
mark.
would drop back down into the seat to avoid getting caught.
Scary stories in 60 seconds or less. So this girl had worked at Nordstrom's as a seasonal employee every Christmas through college for the last 3 years. On her closing shift, it was only her and her manager, and she had the task of closing down the women's
I know this girl. It's like in the Christmas.
floor before she would clock out. After all of her nightly to-dos, she went to the women's dressing room to hit the lights before she was gonna leave. But she was startled by something. A pair of men's shoes that were under one of the dressing room doors. She was mostly kind of annoyed by this because they had already made announcements saying the store was closing, so she just kind of makes a declarative statement and says, "Sir, you have to leave the store. We are closing in 10 minutes." But she got no response, so she started to feel a little uneasy when suddenly the feet turned in her direction. But oddly enough, she wasn't feeling afraid, so she just approached the door and opened it. But then she froze. There was no one in that dressing room. This was not an instance of her eyes playing tricks on her. She saw feet and legs, and they moved under that door.
Terrifying things caught at hospitals. 2 friends were exploring an abandoned hospital when suddenly,
Dude, that's
students were recording
creepy.
a short film inside a mental hospital when they noticed something strange. This mostly empty-looking hospital in Honduras seems innocuous, but scary stalkers caught on camera. This scared man was recording a video with his phone saying that someone was following him.
Pretty sure I'm being followed. I've been taking a rather circuitous route. See that woman back there? I've been taking a rather circuitous route around. She got interested in what I was up to.
This woman was returning home and suddenly, this woman was peacefully walking around with her son, but then,
Alright guys, let's talk about 7/25/2005 and what happened on that day. A SpongeBob episode aired that day and actually glitched out and caused static all over the TV and freeze frames to happen. These freeze frames weren't really normal though, a lot of them were really creepy and freaked a lot of kids out. For example, the one behind me. There's also a part where SpongeBob and Gary are just in a shoe and they're staring at the screen smiling for like an hour. A lot of people managed to capture this on YouTube, so I'm going to play that clip right now and show you guys what happened that day.
monkeys.
Have you guys heard about the staircases in the woods? Apparently deep in the forest there are staircases that lead to nowhere, and you are absolutely supposed to stay away
Yeah.
from them.
You know what, guys? I'm out. Bye.